Hello and welcome to another edition of Coull Discussions. This is Chris. I'm Barry. Today, we're gonna...
Are you ready for a revolution?
That's right, the revolution we don't want. Today we're gonna talk about... we talk a lot of politics on the show.
Yes, we do.
My point of views obviously come across. A lot of people might, this guy included, might think I want some big revolution, some big anarchy, overthrow the government with our pitchforks, and I just want to kind of talk about that, elaborate on that, and get to the bottom of my views.
Okay, so this is part of where this comes from. There have been two incidents, one here in Canada and one in Britain. The British one was a lady was sent home because she refused to wear heels. She was sent home with no pay, and she went on to social media and said, you know what, my job is discriminating against me because they're making me wear heels. It went viral on social media, and she had an online petition with 54,000 people signed to it saying, you know what, this company is a bad company for doing that. Mm-hmm. Well, the company decided, you know what, we're getting rid of the heels policy amongst women, and they changed their mind.
Good.
Power of social media. This is kind of
Power of social media right there.
Yep, that is one example. The other example is Earl's, a restaurant chain here in Canada. I think it's in the U.S. as well. It could be. Anyways, they want to use.
They want to use beef from Kansas. Well, they asked Alberta beef growers to give them like naturally grass-fed beef, like
no
pretty much
hormones,
like
no
all
antibiotics.
organic, right? And they were like, "Well, we couldn't do it at a good enough rate." So Earl's went, "Okay, we're going to use a different beef provider." Mm-hmm. And there's a big uproar in Alberta. Huge uproar. We're going to boycott it. And
Alberta is the beef capital of Canada.
It's like one of our... Yeah, it's huge.
Right up there with oil,
yeah.
We sell beef as well. So we're quite proud of the beef we sell. It is sold worldwide. It's sought after worldwide. So when one of a Canadian store says we're going to use U.S. beef...
There's a big outcry, and what happened is there was a huge outcry, backlash from public. We're going to boycott. We're going to do this. We're not going to eat at your restaurant. It was big. It was huge. And what did Earl's do? They went, hey, we made a mistake, guys. We're sorry. We're going to go back to Alberta beef. Again, the power of the people. The power of social media.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to, like, the flip side of this is that it was the cable industry. And this is how this conversation kind of came up, was people are very unhappy with how cable is provided in Canada. We have some of the worst internet speeds. We have some of the worst cable packages. It's just crap, and we pay the most money. So what happened is people were outcried. They went to the government and said, we need you to legislate this. We need you to force the companies to give us better packages.
Yeah.
So what did they do? They came out and said, well, we're going to have a $25 basic cable package. And then you can pick your own channels after that, individually. The time has passed for that. They put out their $25 package, which is crap. Nobody would ever buy that. $25 is just like probably 12 channels.
The problem is people have bought it.
You know, and it's like, then you have to rent the cable boxes. You have to pay for install. There's a whole bunch of things that's kind of like, you have two sides of it, where government intervention and free market
intervention. Yeah.
Intervention, and I believe which one worked better. And there you go. You got two prime examples right there. You got two good, one bad. Which one's worked better? You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I come from. I come from the side of, I guess when it's compared to like an American politics point of view, they have the Republicans, the Democrats, and then there's the third party of libertarians. I would consider myself one of them.
A libertarian, yeah.
And the stance of libertarian is based a lot on personal accountability. Live your own life as long as you do no harm to other people. Now, I don't think that there should be zero government. I just think that the government shouldn't affect my life, shouldn't put their hands in my pockets, shouldn't tell me what to do, and they shouldn't be my big brother. They shouldn't be there for me to lean on if I have an issue. I shouldn't be able to, because you run into people who are dependent on like social programs, EI. Our healthcare system up here in Canada is crap. You've got months wait.
Okay. By comparison, if you compare it just to the American one, if you have a baby, it's covered here in Canada, whereas in the States it could cost you $15,000.
Yeah, but I saw something on there where you have insurance and the person paid $800 out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't encourage. But right now we encourage people because we have like these baby bonuses, universal child tax, whatever the hell they are, and it's free healthcare. People are popping out babies like crazy.
No, we're in Canada. We're not.
Like,
no, but okay. One, we're not popping out babies like crazy here in Canada. Population growth is actually pretty stagnant.
But if you can't afford a baby, then
but
why is it my responsibility, my tax money, going to people who have children? I have children, guys, and I don't think that I should be getting money from the government.
It's to help offset some of the costs because putting your child in daycare costs more money than it takes to work.
That's why you work opposite shifts with your wife or your husband or whatever.
Yeah.
You go to work in the morning, one person goes to work at night.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't put my kid in daycare because, number one, it's too damn expensive, and number two, I don't want somebody else raising my damn kid.
Yeah. No. And then that's a valid point.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't think that subsidies should be there to help people. Like, you want to have a child, you want to bring another person into this world, you should be fully committed to raising that child on your own. Like, with obviously you can have. I'm not saying like no help whatsoever. Your family can be there to help you.
Now,
like a babysitter.
If you want to go that route, in the 1950s you could, because you could have one parent make enough money as a worker to survive. Mm-hmm. In this society now,
but whose fault is that? It's regulation. It's legislation. It's government because government puts everything on.
No, but it's greed. Okay, look at the states by comparison. Mm-hmm. They don't have universal health care. They don't have the socialism like.
Well, they have welfare health care.
But
it's like our system up here.
Yeah.
I had somebody who lived in America. I worked at a job, and this lady, she came from America to Canada, and she was like, "Your healthcare system." This is exactly what she said. Your healthcare system that you have here is like the welfare system in America. It's exactly what it is. And I went, that's totally true, because people can go to an ER for, I got a sniffle. I think I might have I've had a headache.
Okay, but that's the thing. That's a sense of personal responsibility right there.
That's what I'm talking about.
None, because people are like,
yeah, because it's free. Because they're like, I got this crutch, I can use it, and I don't get penalized for it. There's no repercussions for. I lose my job, I go to EI and I say, give me money. And I'm a seasonal worker. I work in the summertime only. Yeah. Right. I can take the winter off and collect the EI.
I think
that's crap.
I personally think that's a load of crap as well.
You know what I mean?
Because it's like, you know what? If you're a seasonal worker, you know what? Get another
job.
Job to tide your overs.
You know that.
I agree.
These people who work in the oil fields making $5-10 grand a month, they come back and go, I'm going to go on EI. No.
Yeah.
Fucking save your own damn money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, I agree there is a lot of greed, and that has to be addressed in some way. But how do we address it?
No, yeah, okay. But that's what it comes down to, is because there is so much greed that there's no room for anything.
But there's no competition. There's so much regulation and legislation for other companies to come in, right? There's no competition. Like, imagine if you had an open market where you or I could start any kind of business we wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? And we ran our business ethically, morally, and people were like, we like these guys. But Joe Blow over here ran their company with slave labor, low wages. Now you have the chance to decide which company you use, right?
Yeah.
Right now, in the cable industry, we use that. We only have two options.
No, there are three. Okay. TELUS, Shaw, and Bell.
Okay, 3. Imagine if we had 10, 15 options. Imagine how much more competitive that would be. And there wouldn't be that much room for greed. Right now, there's room for monopolies and greed and stuff like that.
No,
right?
But okay, it's still the same in the States. Even though they have an open market and they have a lot more cable providers, there's still that sense of greed, and things aren't necessarily cheaper. In the U.S., they have worse internet Do they have worse?
I have no idea. It's crap in North America.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think they have worse, though. I think Canada has one of the worst.
Okay, Canada has one of the worst. In the States, it's not like it's that much better.
Well, in some areas I've seen it's like 3, 4, 5 times.
Okay, yeah,
us.
in some areas. But if you go to Europe, a very socialist area that has healthcare and stuff like that, and
there are a lot of countries in Europe that has a very socialist mentality.
Yeah, and they have way better internet than us. Like by far, they have. Like a guy at work he was talking about is like. These are the wrong numbers, I know that, but he was talking with a guy in the States, him and a guy in Finland. They were playing Call of Duty and talking about internet speeds. And the American says, it's like, I get 200 down, and the Canadians, like, I get 100 down, and the Finnish guy's like, I get 500
Yeah.
down.
I've seen that too. Like,
and
all
it's just
over
like,
Europe is like...
and it's like, okay, they have a very socialist mentality, cradle to grave aspect of life.
Right.
And yeah, it's like that's what they have here, and we don't exactly have that quite here in Canada, but it's much.
I just think that if you open up the market and give more choice, I think it would. It's not going to correct itself overnight. Things aren't going to correct itself. It's going to take a long time to do it.
In Canada, the whole reason why they have the market the way they do it is because they want to protect Canada, because from America. If they open up the market, it's going to be flooded with American stuff. We're going to have nothing but American stuff.
Well, there's still going to be a tax. Like in my society, there'd still be a tax rate, and you could have tax benefits for being a Canadian company, for being, you know what I mean? Like
okay. The problem with that is right here. It's like Walmart and Walmart Canada. Walmart Canada is a Canadian company.
Well, then you
they get
you call them out and be like,
but
and you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
but
you got to close the loopholes. You know what I mean? There's so many loopholes that are there that people use. You got to close them and be like, you pay this regardless. If you're a foreign company coming into and your home base is in another country, you pay X. If you're a Canadian company, you pay X minus.
No. See, if you're a Canadian company, you get X minus 5. If you're a foreign company,
you pay X.
You pay X based on how much money you raise out of Canada. So if you make $100 million out of Canada, guess what? $100 million is taxed according to Canadian law. Yeah. And whatever you make over there, whatever, we don't care.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah,
that's the way I think the taxes should work in that regards.
I just think that it's just there's too much of a hand. Like there should be more options. Like our healthcare system should be 2-tiered.
I agree.
People who can pay for it should be able to pay for it.
They should be allowed to. Yes.
Why not? Okay, that might cause problems of like. Well, then a lot of the doctors are going to go work in the private industry, but then our socialist healthcare has to compete with the private industry. Therefore, making it better. If you want to pay for it, then maybe we should pay for it. Put a user fee on people who... I don't know how you would do it. Abuse the system. If you abuse the system, if you go to... How many times in a year should you be in an ER?
Oh, but okay, here's the thing. If you go to the ER and you're there because of a sniffle, guess what? Just like, you know what?
$100.
You just paid for my waste of time. Go to your family doctor.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have a family doctor? Hand him a list of cards going, go there.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm not arguing about certain aspects. We're not perfect, but I think we get a lot of things better than. I think we personally get a lot of things better than the States.
We probably do.
You know, we have a set of welfare laws. Yeah, we hand out welfare. Yeah, we do.
I think that should be left to like. This is a prime example. Like, look at the fires in Fort McMurray. People stepped up and have raised like $84 million for these people. Now that, in comparison for 80,000 people, it's not a lot of money. You know what I mean? But hopefully most people have insurance. The whole city's not wiped out here.
No.
You know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of insurance claims, and there's going to be a lot of stuff like that. But it's not the responsibility of my tax dollars to rebuild somebody's house.
No, but that's insurance.
You know what I mean? It's not my tax dollar responsibility to like, if I want to help somebody, I'll donate to the Red Cross.
Okay, but here's the thing: the whole reason why that the government aspect is there is so it can help you. It's not a crutch.
But it is, but it's turned into a crutch, though. That's the problem.
No.
Yes, okay, I understand that it's there to help you and to get you by, but people use the systems like EI and stuff like that as they abuse them. They don't use them as a helping hand.
They abuse it, and I get it. You know what? It's one of those things where you need better, right?
If you want to pay into it, if you want to pay into EI, I'm fine with that. But don't make me pay into it. If you want to pay CPP, go ahead, but don't make me pay into it.
Okay, and then you don't get any.
Good. I don't care. I'm going to work till I die anyways. Are you going to retire on a CPP pension plan?
Nope.
So there you go. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, if you want to pay into that stuff, if you want to pay it, go ahead. Go ahead. I have no problem with that. I have no problem if you want the government to be your crutch, be your safety band-aid. I don't care with that.
So you want a two-tier system.
But I want the option to not pay into it, because what have I tried to use the EI once, and because I did the thing that I thought was right when I didn't have work, I went and found cash jobs. I had a buddy who worked in construction. I said, hey, can I come help you out? Yeah, no problems. I'll pay you cash. We'll figure it out till you can find something. I did that for 6 months. Then his job dried up, so I went to EI, and they said, well, you haven't worked enough in the last year. And I went, what? So I've been paying into the system for my whole life, and I need it once for a couple months. I can't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Joe Blow over here who's been on it for
a season or
a year,
yeah,
or something like that, because they keep renewing it, and it's like, wow. So now my money, it's probably like $15,000 over my lifetime, is where? It wasn't put into account for me.
No.
I could have been putting that money into a bank account for myself. My CPP, will it be there when I'm older? Maybe not. Who knows?
Oh,
could have been putting that money in my own bank account. You know what I mean? I think that just the more money that
the
you
whole
leave,
point of yours is it doesn't incur interest the way it would in.
But then you could go to a higher risk. You could put it in the stock market. You could put it into.
Okay, think about it this way: if you're putting in a year $1,000,
mm-hmm.
right? But if you have all of Canada putting in $1,000 into the same pool,
well, your accruing interest
is much higher compared to what yours would be.
But
and that's the whole point of it.
Okay, but then it should be there for me. Like my portion I should get that little small piece in my own little bank account on my own little website that I can look at and go, there's this much in my EI account that I should be able to access at any time I need it. But I can't do that because I have to meet these rules. You know, and it's like...
Well, the rules are there because...
So people don't abuse it, but when somebody who actually needs it goes for it, they don't meet the rules because they did the stand-up thing and tried to get themselves work. How is that fair? It's not fair. It's not fair at all.
Okay, but it's also a double-edged sword right there, because if you're talking about, oh yeah, you did the right thing and went to work, well, you could have somebody say, oh, they did the right thing too and went to work. If they had to take people's words off of it, they'd have to take everybody's word, and then everybody would be able to abuse it.
What? If two people said that they went to work.
No, but okay, you're saying you went to work for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then another guy could say he went to work and didn't actually work.
Okay.
But and then all of a sudden it's like your buddy would vouch for you. Yeah, no problem. But he has a buddy who would vouch for him.
No, I get that.
Right? The whole point is to have a paper trail. Yeah, it's a bureaucracy thing. And bureaucracy is a horrible thing to have in society because it adds a layer of extra weight, time, and money that isn't necessary to be there. Yes, I understand you need bureaucracy to a point, but bureaucracy shouldn't eat up.
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't take so much of your time.
Okay, in Alberta, we're compared to BC. They're right beside us. That's why. In Alberta, we spend about $7,000 more per person on the services that we get in Alberta compared to the people in BC. Our services aren't better than BC. They're actually below BC. So where's that extra money going? I get it. Yeah, I get it. And that's the whole point is, yes, it's a good idea to have competition, but it's also a good idea to have it...
some sort of regulation.
Yeah.
But I feel that the free market would regulate itself over time.
It doesn't, though.
How do you? We don't know.
No. A great example of free market regulating itself is the economic crash, the housing crash of 2008, when we had that big recession. Banks were letting...
They were lending out money falsely.
They were lending out money, not falsely. They were just lending out money and packaging debt as an asset.
Yeah. So that
they were selling a negative dollar amount as a positive dollar amount, saying, hey, look, it's worth something.
They should have crashed. Their banks should have went out of business, but they're still in business.
And the 2008 crash, I believe it was handled really, really bad by governments.
Yeah.
I personally think it was. It's like, you know what?
Shouldn't have been handled by governments at all.
Should have just let them
crash. Let them go to bankruptcy.
And at that point in time, the government steps in and is like, okay, you know what? We have all these people that we need to help. Let's help them out.
It should be up to the banks to help them out, though. It should be up to the people who sold them the bad things, or it should be up to yourself to look at it and go and to be educated on this this thing. Like,
unfortunately, they make things so convoluted and so difficult to understand that normal people can't.
And that's where it's a fail. You know what I mean? They hide it under so much legalities and so much crap that it's impossible for a regular person to understand.
True.
And it's like, you know, how can we stop that? We need to if we all just pulled all of our money out of our banks and said we're not using banks, go F yourself. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to be like, oh crap. But it's never going to happen.
This is what the revolution is about. Is look at what social media can...
Two prime examples. Earls and the person in Britain.
One person in Britain...
Putting their story out there, saying this is... And it changed. 50,000 people changed a company's policies. 50,000 people. Imagine 35 million, that's the population of Canada, going, no.
Now, the example that we ranted about was, cable. Well, guess what? Instead of bitching to the government saying, hey, you guys need to change it, it should have just been...
Call your cable company
and say, I quit.
So we'll start a Facebook page, or we'll freaking say it right here, on June 1st or June 15th or June whatever, you pick any day. And you go, everybody calls their cable company. We'll say June 1st. Everybody calls their cable company and says, I'm canceling my cable, I'm canceling my internet. Could you imagine what they would do if 1 million people called in one day and said, I'm getting rid of my cable? They would shit their pants. And they would change in a week. They would be like, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board here. Just imagine, like, we hold the power. Like,
as much as we think we don't,
we do.
We do. It's a catch-22. We have to do it in large numbers, and that's what.
And the use of social media now. Now is the best time ever that we have to be able to come together as a society and fight for what we want. You know what I mean? Like, if we feel we're getting screwed in the insurance business, we need to all stand up to our insurance companies and go, give us what we want. Cable, grocery stores, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Imagine if we all just boycotted what we were doing. People would be like, ooh, man, we need to change. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if we all just went, we're not paying our taxes. If, say, in Calgary, because, say, Nenshi pissed us all off, and we went, we're not paying our taxes. Are they going to throw 1 million people in jail? Probably not. They're going to be like, what's going on? Or imagine if there was the option on the electoral ballot that said, none of the above, and 90% votes went none of the above. A vote of non-confidence for any party. What's going to happen? In my mind, if I was those other parties, I'd be like... And if I was one of the smaller parties, I'd be like, this is my chance. I can step out of the shadows. They don't trust these main parties now. Now's my chance. But right now, we have to vote for, 3 choices, really? There is more, obviously. There's but they're not publicized as much as the 3 main parties. Is there 4 main parties? 3?
Okay. In Canada, there's 2 main parties. Conservatives
and
Liberal, those are the main ones.
But then there's like
the third one
subgroups of NDP
is NDP
and Wild Rose.
And then Wild Rose is provincial.
Yeah, I was thinking of provincial.
Okay. Oh, okay. No, in the provincial one, there's the PC, there's the NDP,
Liberals.
Wild Rose. Yeah. Those are the three main ones. And then the fringe parties are the Wild Rose,
I know there's an Alberta party.
Yeah, there was.
The Green Party is a bunch of hippies. I know that. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here I think there has to be some sort of government. There has to be some sort of something to keep people in line. But I don't think it needs to be as much and as big as it is.
Oh, and here's a pitch for a party. The Conservative Party of Canada, that's the way they want. That's the way they aim for. Is they don't want as much government. They want to make government smaller. They want government to be out of.
But we had in Alberta, we had the Conservative Party for 40 years, and when did they shrink government?
We had the PC Party in Alberta.
Progressive Conservative, same fucking thing.
The PC Party of Alberta just was in power for so long. They just did whatever the hell.
But
they
even
want.
federal, it's like we've just elected the same cycle. We go PC, conservative, liberal, and it's like, when has anything really changed? It's just gotten. If you look at the government 15 years ago to now, is the government bigger?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
so
it's not from a lack of trying. The Conservative Party, the Conservative Party of Canada, did try to reduce the role of government. They tried to reduce tax. They did reduce taxes.
They reduced it by 2 cents. Or 2%.
Yeah.
In a GST.
No, okay. On the GST, they reduced it by 2%. They made tax cuts better for the middle class. They reduced business taxes.
Yeah, but it didn't. You need something that affects everybody. You can't just be like, we're going to cut the middle class. And it's like, well, what does the middle class consist of? What does small business consist of? We're going to cut taxes for this, but you have to meet these criteria. And what I want is these criterias to go, get out of here. Get out of here. Here's the tax code. 10%, 12%, 15%, whatever it has to be. That's it. You pay that. You get no deductions. Unless you make a charitable contribution. Dollar for dollar charitable contribution. So I donate $1, I get $1 off my taxes. So maybe you make it 15%. To cover the shortfalls, because how many people are going to be able to actually donate a worthy amount to charity, where it's going to make a huge difference? People. Exactly. But if you go, and you can set a cap, you can do stuff like that for charitable donations.
Because a rich person could effectively get rid.
Well, they could effectively. That's why if you set a cap or something like that, it's not 100% perfect, but it's just an idea, right? Where if you just go, because I know that you can write off part of your house, part of your utilities, if you have a home office. It's like, nope, 10%.
And that's something that's been floated around for a long time, is just make it a flat rate so everybody pays the amount. And the thing with a flat rate is, that's it. It's 15%, done.
That's it.
You make $1 million, 15%. If you make a $10, it's 15%, done. That's it. No more, no less.
And then we start from the inside. We go, okay, our government. Now, where can we trim the fat? Because we've heard that so many times, but nobody trims the fat.
Nobody does.
Nobody trims the fat. And it's going to suck. It may put some people out of work. But if we open up to a little bit more private industry, there will be jobs created from private industry, right? The government can be responsible for infrastructure, yes. But I don't think that they should be handing out millions and billions of dollars to private groups to build an arena. I think if you're a sports owner and you want to build a damn arena, build it yourself.
You're the one saying, and I agree with sports arenas. Like, if you want any kind of government to pay for part of your building, they own part of the building now, just like any other investor you would have.
And
and none of this. Oh yeah, you pay for part of the building and you maintain it, but I get to keep all the money.
Yeah.
No.
And I think that if you have two individuals like you and I, say we want to do some business, right? Mm-hmm. We should be able to, no matter what, with no government involvement, be able to decide on how a payment between the two of us. So if you want me to clean your house, I go, okay, pay me a case of beer. It happens, it does.
Oh yeah.
But you look at a prime example, like like Uber, right? Uber wanted to come into Calgary,
Yeah.
and the taxis complained. Okay, I
Taxis.
I get like the taxis. Yeah, taxi companies complain. They complain because they don't. In my eyes, they're scared of the competition. But like it's no different than.
No, but okay, we did talk about this in the previous episode.
They wanted them to pay what they pay because it's fair, right?
Yeah, they wanted to make it fair.
Yeah,
which
but my rebuttal to them is fine. Close your cab companies and become Uber.
Yeah. No,
I would do that. I'd be like, fuck that. I don't want this shit. I'm going to be Uber.
Exactly, and that's a great point. It's like as soon as the
bar is set here.
As soon as the city of Calgary went, oh, this is what Uber has to do. The cab company should have went, okay, we're not going to be cab companies anymore. We're Uber.
We're all going to join Uber. And then I think it would have just been better. I just think.
Oh well, we're going to be Uber yellow taxi, and we're going to be Uber checkered cab.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
At that point in time, it's like, well. And then if you have people complain, it's like, well, this is what the free market is about. We're making it better for our drivers. Done.
That's kind of my belief in the free market. I think that I know it sounds weird, and anybody who thinks like the libertarian people and people are like they're all just grouped into these like hippie mentality people, and it's like, well, no, I think we just look at the world differently, and we go, we're all adults, and we should all be able to take care of ourselves. You know what I mean? I should be able to transact business with my neighbor, with anything that I want. There are some really far, like, off libertarians who believe that there should be, like, sub-societies within societies, and, and it's just, I don't understand it, I don't get it. There are people who are like, get rid of the federal government completely, get rid of the dollar, get rid of this, get rid of that, and it's like, I believe that you should be able to use whatever currency, because there is currency out there that's like Bitcoin, you should be able to use that if you want to do transactions in Bitcoin, silver, gold, Tim Hortons. You know what I mean? You should be able to do it however you want. Okay,
now it is done though. That's the thing. There are a lot. It's not. Companies generally use money because that's what everybody accepts. Yeah. Now, if you're cleaning my house and I pay you in a case of beer, the government has no say in that. Yeah, it's just the way it is.
But you should be able to do it on a grander scale. That's what I'm talking about.
Hold on. At what kind of grand scale is somebody going to go, yeah, pay me in Timmy's?
No, well, I get that. I get that. It's obviously like, but like if I own a small business, right, and I come to an agreement with somebody, like say I come to an agreement and I say, I have an employee and I go, I'm gonna buy this house for you, and that's your payment. You know what I mean? I should be able to do that. But right now in today's society, you couldn't do that.
Yeah, you could.
No, you couldn't, because Alberta laws wouldn't let you do that. If somebody found out about that and they went to the labor board, they'd be like, "You can't do that."
The labor board, you can. It's he signs a contract saying, "I work for you."
I still think I think there's a little bit of a gray area. I'm pretty sure you couldn't really do that. I'm pretty sure.
I think you could actually. It's called a contract. They're called contract bonuses, incentives.
Maybe
that's one.
Maybe,
of the,
but the government would still find a way to get in there and be like, hey,
but okay, you still have to make taxes on
that. That's what I mean. They would still have to like. Yeah. I don't think the government would allow that as full payment for your employment because the taxes. Like, how would the government figure out taxes on that? Right? Mm-hmm. They'd be like, well, you can't do that for this reason. And I think it should be able to do that. If you're just that's just my thought. I just think that. Like, don't grab your pitchforks. Put your pitchforks and your torches down.
We know social media can work. And
because it's been proven.
It happens. We see it. There are examples of it. Now, he wants something to happen in regards to government. And I get it. I'm not in disagreement with you in that regard.
Well, there is flaws to my theory, obviously. But there's flaws to every theory. My thing is this.
There is flaws.
We've been doing the same thing for so long. Finally, this time around, Alberta decided to vote in a different government. And now the whole province is pissed. Well, a majority of it is pissed. Maybe the people who voted them in aren't pissed. But, and I just think it's time for a drastic change. It's not time for just a little bit. It's not time for just, move the meter a little bit. Let's go like this. I think it's time for a really drastic change. I think something needs to completely change, because if we keep doing the same thing, it's never going to change. Ever. You know what I mean? We're going to be, what are our grandkids paying our debt now? You know what I mean? And it's like...
I can't argue against that because it's true. We do need something.
So we
just disagree about what that something is, and this is what the government has over us. They know, a lot of us have apathy, a lot of us are lethargic. Social media is great, but it doesn't do the bureaucratic aspect of what the government needs to be done. So we can sit here and say, oh yeah, on June 1st, let's do this, all we want. But you actually need...
It's a matter of doing it, yeah.
You need people to follow through, and that's something that just does...
It's the hardest thing to do is to get people to follow through.
And again, we talked about this in another episode.
You put together a
Slack division.
Yeah, you put together a poker night with your buddies.
How many people show up?
You invite 10 people. How many people show up? 4? If that, if you're lucky. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all happened to us. You schedule an event and it's like...
And if it's never happened to you, you should be the one in charge.
You should be the leader because you're doing something right.
Yeah, apparently something you're doing right. So,
you know, I don't know. I just think that we need to get out from underneath this. I don't know what it is.
Don't worry, he'll talk about it again.
Of course, because I'm going to sound like a broken record, and I'm fine with that because I don't think that my beliefs haven't changed. My beliefs and my ideals don't change. They're from subject to subject. If I've seen the same story from somebody about the high heel thing here in I don't know if it was the same one, but somebody that in Edmonton said they had to wear it and took a picture of her bloody feet, and we're like, oh well, and people were mad about it, and it's like,
that has something to do with a restaurant. You have to wear high heels.
Yeah,
and you have to.
And I'm like, if a private business puts a uniform policy or puts a policy, and you agree on, like you being hired and agreeing to work for them, says you agree with their policies, and then there you go. If you don't like it, then.
But there's the thing.
And if you want to put it on social media, and then social media uproars and does something about it, and the company changes, you did it right. Congratulations. You've used the free market. You've used the tools that you have to change something. You win. You know what I mean? Good for you. You've done it. You've done it right. You've done exactly what you should do and how you should do it. Don't run to the government and say you need to change this, because that's not right. That's it. Be responsible for yourself. Don't hurt anybody else.
I do agree with that. I just think getting there is a little different.
Well, how do you think getting there is then? If you're responsible for yourself, how do you make people how do you make people responsible for themselves? Do you give them crutches, or do you take those crutches away? When you're in, you break your leg, right? Mm-hmm. If you walk on crutches forever, is that leg ever going to get back to strength? No, you got to take those crutches away every once in a while.
Yeah.
When you teach your kid to ride a bike, do you leave training wheels on forever?
No.
You take them off because you need to learn to fall. You need to get up. You need to learn to fall and get up.
Yes. I agree with that. It's the aspect of, okay, once that happens, it's like, are you going to be,
Well, I don't understand. That's what I'm talking about. When I have any kind of conversation with anybody like this, I don't understand where they're coming from. I want to understand. You know what I mean? And it's like, I want to know why people think it's okay to have that crutch. We'll call it a crutch. You know what I mean? And it's like, why should we keep it there? What's the benefit of it doing? You know what I mean? Like, there are other ways there are private charities and private things to help people, right? You know what I mean? Like the mustard seed and Red Cross and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, they also do require government assistance in regards to not having to pay taxes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Just using the training wheels on a bike. If you take the training wheels off a bike and then you no longer help your child ride a bike, right? They fall. The Red Cross isn't going to come and help them. You have to go there and help them out every now and then.
Yeah, but that's like your family, right?
No,
that's
but okay,
like
that's
you develop social groups.
That's a family environment. Now, if you take it into a non-family environment and somebody needs help and nobody's there to help them, they fail, and in a lot of cases, they're going to die.
Okay.
That's an extreme example.
Yeah.
But if you take somebody on Aish,
Yeah.
right? If you take away that crutch,
Uh-huh.
right? They're not able to, but then nobody's checking on them.
Right.
They end up not taking care of themselves and possibly end up putting themselves into mental distress.
That's where it's like, you know, like
But
that's where the change is gonna be. There's gonna be that time where you're changing from what we have to where it is without, where everybody's their own responsibility, and unfortunately it is gonna take its toll on the older generation of now because of exactly the example you just gave, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, over time, people are going to realize that family element is really, really important. And really, really, you know, having that community, having that, you know what they say, it takes a village to raise a child, right? And it's like,
do you want a village to raise your child?
But do you want your family, right? That's what I'm talking about. When you have like your immediate family, right?
Okay, but
you know,
in our example, our immediate family isn't exactly close.
But that's what I mean. Like it would put more importance on that, and would it not create a better society?
No, but not necessarily, because some people just don't want anything at all to do with their family.
But then then it puts the responsibility on themselves to build kind of that other social network, or that other network of to be there for them if they're that thing. Because everybody has issues and everybody needs help, right?
Yeah.
And it just puts more responsibility on yourself to be that better person yourself, right? Because if you're just a dick, you're just left out there by yourself. You're left out in left field, just kind of chilling, right? Going, and then when something happens, you're like, oh man, shit. You know what I mean? I have nobody, and you're gonna go, oh, I shouldn't have been so mean. And that's where right now is like we have that ability to just go, oh, the government will help me. You know what I mean? And it's like, so is it perfect, my idea? Probably not. It obviously it's not going to be perfect, and there are going to be some pain. There would be some pain in the transition, but there would be pain in any transition. You know what I mean? I just think that you should just be responsible for how you live your life and how you treat other people and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because that's that. I don't know. That's. I haven't been in any kind of conversation with anybody who is for government and all this that makes me go, oh, you're right. You know what I mean?
Because unfortunately, right now, government
it makes me
doing
see
a good idea. It isn't doing the government right now isn't doing a good job.
But my whole life, I've seen it, and I go, I just hear, I see the government, and I see it, and to me, it feels like a repeat performance all the time. Does it not feel the same to you? Over and over again? Does it not?
No.
Does it not seem like the same promises?
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that fact.
So do you think, like, who do you support? Who would you support in a provincial to be?
Wild Rose.
Okay, so do you think that if they came in, it would be any different?
Yeah.
You think it would be completely different and it would change everything and everything would go back to perfect?
Not necessarily perfect. They would obviously make mistakes.
Perfect in your mind, like how you
they would do it better. I personally think they would do it to a point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in Alberta history, when the PC government took over, which was like 44 years ago, they did it perfect, and then they coasted for a long time until they actually had a leader come by who, by the name of Ralph Klein, he became the premier of Alberta, and he just screwed everything up. And not in a bad way. He slayed the deficit. He got rid of it. The deficit was paid in full. We had no debt. And then his successors screwed everything up.
Yeah, but he did it with high taxes.
No, he didn't.
I thought that I read somewhere that he did it with, like, the tax rate in his time was higher than it is now.
I don't. Okay, I wasn't old enough to pay taxes at the time. But what he did do was he trimmed the fat.
Yeah, but then he gave $400 or whatever to everybody.
Yeah, but after everything was paid.
Well, why wouldn't you just put that in the bank?
But he did. He put.
Don't give anything.
$45 billion in the bank
that we just pissed through,
and his successors have just pissed through it.
That's just what I'm saying. I just think that.
But yes, I personally think that
aren't the Wild Rose just another wing of the Conservatives?
No. They want the Conservatives say, oh, we're supposed to be this, but the Wild Rose is going, well, you know what, you guys were in and you guys didn't do anything.
I just it's hard to believe any politician, because we've seen so many say we're going to do X and do nothing.
But here's the thing, like the guy Ralph Klein, he did something. He actually did something. Okay. That's what I personally think is just a person like that who's willing to do something and say, fuck you all.
Make the hard decisions and
go, you know what? Cut. Because the first thing, the Wild Rose right now is saying is like, you know what? We don't have to have a deficit right now because the NDP government has a $10 billion deficit. And the NDP is like, you know what? If you had just done this mathematically, and they showed it, that we would have zero deficit right now. Like it wouldn't be a $10 billion deficit. It would be like a $1 billion deficit. But the NDP is going, oh, you know what? We're still going to hand out raises to the unions. We're still going to do this. We're still going to do that. And the Wild Rose is going, well, why are you guys doing that? All these people are losing their jobs, losing their money. You know what? You tell these people, no, that's it. That would have been the end of the conversation for them. People would have been like, "Rawr," and it's like, well, sorry.
Well, that's the thing,
We need somebody who's willing to go,
not
no.
scared to say no.
And I personally think, I think the Wild Rose would do that. And you know what? If they don't, guess what? It's just more politicians. And you're right, we're spinning our wheels. But the thing is, we need somebody, and the Ralph Klein was a great example of that. Somebody going, no.
We need somebody who's willing to come in and just put their foot down and be like, this is what we need to do. It doesn't matter if it hurts. It's going to hurt.
Yes.
It's going to hurt, and we just need to...
Short-term pain for long-term gain.
That's... I'm not 100% against government. I'm not.
I know.
But I just think that it needs to be done differently.
Yes.
It needs to be done more in a collaboration of everybody. Not... standing up in question period and yelling at each other, and it's like, well, what are we accomplishing here? Why? You know what I mean? Imagine if we just sat here and yelled at each other. Maybe we get more views, but okay. If you sat down at a table and had a conversation to figure out your business, well, that's what Alberta is. That's what Canada is.
I agree.
If you sat down with everybody and said, this is what we need to do. This is, here's my idea. Here's why it works. Oh, here's your idea. Now you tell us yours. Why does it work? And we'll kind of have a debate, a little conversation, and we'll kind of come to an agreement on everything.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And it's like, but right now we just have the NDP going, nah, we're just doing what we want. And we're just having the Liberals going, we're just doing what we want. We don't care. You know what I mean? And it's like, if we just had, number one, if we just had a simple tax code, we could probably get rid of like half the damn Canada Revenue Agency. So I would trim some fat. If it was
but that's the thing. It comes down to nobody is willing to do anything.
Nobody wants to do the hard things. Nobody wants.
All politicians tend to do is be politicians and cater to whoever's going to vote for them.
Oh, exactly. But that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like with my ideas and my thought processes, it's going to hurt some people. Yes, there's going to be some pain. Yes, there will be. There are going to be people who are going to be mad. But I think like to look down. Are you
willing to be one of those people who ends up being mad if things don't work out the way you think?
Would I be mad?
No. If you do what you say you do, and you're one of those people it just doesn't work for, are you going to be happy being mad?
Would I be? I'm sorry, I'm lost.
You completely lost me. You're saying be personally responsible, right?
Yeah.
And
would I be fine being mad? Yes. Yeah,
okay.
100%. Because I know some of my ideas would affect me. I know that they would, but I'm okay with that because I just think for long term, like here, like the short term, here would suck for a lot of people, but down here, I think it would just be better.
Unfortunately, in here, it would suck for a lot of people that aren't rich.
Well, that's the thing. But how do we get to where everybody prospers?
And guess what? Over here. But it's still not going to prosper.
It's
because it comes down to.
But we don't know that.
No, but it comes down to greed.
But we don't know that.
A good example of greed is a corporate CEO, right? In the States, they're pushing. There's a big movement about pushing for a $15 minimum wage.
Yeah,
right.
Here in Alberta.
Anyways, push for a $15 minimum wage, and you know what? A CEO is going, no, we can't do that. We can't afford that. But a CEO makes like $7,000 an hour.
Yeah, but there has to be ways to incentivize that person.
But there aren't ways to incentivize that person. No,
but see, to sit there and go, there is no way.
No,
we have to.
No. I didn't say incentivize. You just simply make a law stating an employee, a CEO, can't make more than X.
But when as a law, ever stopped anybody from doing anything.
No, but there is no law stating that a CEO can't make more.
When has the speeding law stopped somebody from speeding? When has prohibition? When did it stop people from drinking alcohol?
Hold on.
When did drugs?
Barry, we have a minimum wage law.
Yeah, and I think it's ridiculous.
No, well, you think there should be no minimum wage?
Yeah, absolutely. You should be. If somebody wants to work for me for $1 an hour, then why not?
Wow, because at that point in time, Walmart could just go...
You're right, but then people would look at that and go, well, I don't agree with Walmart's slave labor. And boycott Walmart. That's where it comes back to the...
They couldn't afford to boycott Walmart because Walmart is still the cheapest place to go to.
Then brand X, brand Y, brand P, brand Q would pop up and be like, hey, Walmart doesn't want that. I can provide you. I pay mine. Doesn't Costco do this? Costco CEO doesn't make that much money. He goes and pays everybody more money.
But that's the point. The CEO does it because he cares.
You're right.
Lots of CEOs don't.
I understand what you're saying.
Care about the money.
I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Like I completely get what you're saying, and I can see that. I can see where a lot of people would think like that. Well, you would just have complete slavery almost, right? But when you look at it and you go, if you knew that your favorite place was using favorite brand of clothing was using child labor,
Adidas.
Right? Okay,
a great example is
Adidas.
Buy Adidas. No, I don't. But I've never bought Adidas. I've never put myself in a situation.
But what's something that you buy? Though?
People know Adidas uses child labor, and they still buy it.
Well, then that's society. That's us creating that in our own.
Adidas as a company hasn't gone under,
but it's not the government's responsibility to regulate that.
But
to me, it's not.
But that's a thing where maybe the government needs to step in.
I think we as a society, prime example, the two that we gave you at the beginning of the episode, needs to step up and go, we're tired of this. We don't want this. It's just because society knows that, well, it's okay if the government doesn't do anything about it, so it's okay. They're not breaking any laws, they're not breaking anything. We're just gonna, you know what I mean?
They are breaking laws because...
So then why isn't the government, then why aren't they criminally in court?
Because it's just the way the society works.
So there you go. We're not responsible for ourselves. We are creating...
our
own things. So to sit there, okay, I can see what you're saying about the greed and all that stuff like that, but if we choose to buy Adidas and we know that they're using child labor,
yeah,
then that's on us. That's on nobody else.
But that's the thing. It is on us. And you're saying, oh, people have to be personally responsible. But guess what? They're not. And that's an example of people not being responsible.
I get what you're saying.
And that's what's happening, is they're not going to be responsible.
But if
and Adidas just gets away with it. Done.
So that's on us as a society then.
It is.
It's on us as a society then.
Right.
We are creating what we create, and we'll fail as a society then. We should fail. We shouldn't be artificially propped up by something. We should fail. The bottom should fall out from us, and we should learn and be like, holy crap. It's like an alcoholic. You know what I mean?
They have to hit rock bottom.
When do you decide you're going to get better? Either you die, or you hit rock bottom and go, holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we can't hit rock bottom because we have this little safety net.
No, but that's the thing.
And it's like,
okay, how many people are you willing to lose when you hit rock bottom?
How many people? There is no number. I can't put a number on it.
No. But that's what you're saying is society has to bottom out, and I'm not disagreeing. But how many people are you willing to? What's the casualty? So you're saying you are totally okay with a society of Canada, 35 million, bottoming out and say losing 12 million people, just dead. And
it would suck.
And whatever comes out after the ashes is okay. You're okay with that.
If that I don't see that happening. But if that happened, then wouldn't we have to question ourselves as a society and go?
But guess what? The only way to get rid of society is to bottom out. And if you lose a few people in the process, oh no. That's
survival of the fittest, I guess.
That's that's part of a problem.
I just think I don't think that it would go that way. I don't think it would be that's like extreme.
Whoa. If you're talking about society of the fittest, look at The Walking Dead. Negan's Army.
Yeah, I get it.
That's society. I get it.
But despite how
horrible they are,
that's where I'm saying.
The society that
but that's where I'm saying. Like this is where everybody who's government oriented and wants the crutches goes. Well, it would be complete and absolute anarchy. Do we know that? No, we don't know that. We don't know that, but we know what we're in right now.
Okay, are you sure about that? Because we are talking about human nature.
We don't know. We don't know 100%.
We are talking about human nature.
You're right, but we don't know that 100%. We know what we have right now, and it's shit. What we have right now is shit, and we're going to drive ourselves into the fucking ground eventually. And there's going to be 9 billion people on this earth.
But that,
and we're not going to be able to feed. We're not going to have resources for a quarter, a tenth of what we.
Well,
have.
maybe that's what needs to happen.
So now you're in this model we have currently right now. If you want to look at extremes, the model we have currently right now, in 100 years, 8 billion people could die. Whereas potentially in a different model, 12 million people could die. In your mind, 12 million people could die to protect society for longer longevity. Right? It's kind of the same thing. So if you open up the market to competition and transparency and all this stuff, you know what I mean? It would need society. My ideas would need society to step up, fucking put your damn book bag on, whatever, put your hiking shoes on, grab your damn fucking pitchfork, and fucking work. And do what you need to do. If you find out Walmart's CEO is making $700,000 an hour or whatever, and their bottom employee is making $5,000, and you don't like that, don't shop at Walmart. And eventually, over time, these products and these companies will weed themselves out, will destroy themselves eventually.
Okay, if you're saying that, it should have already happened in the States.
But it's not, because we have government artificially holding up these people at the bottom who continue to shop at these places.
Okay, Barry. The government is what's happening in that regards is government is giving food stamps to the people that work at Walmart so they can actually buy food so they can Walmart pays them so little money that they need to go to the government
so then stop shopping at Walmart.
But they can't afford to shop anywhere else.
Stop shopping at Walmart.
You can't afford to shop
but nobody else can come in and open a Save on lettuce store.
No, because the people that can afford to open on a Save on lettuce store
already
own a Walmart.
Because but that comes back to
greed.
It comes back to the top heavy society that we have. Everybody's incentivized to hold on to their money. Everybody's I gotta hold my money. But it is greed. I understand that.
But so,
but imagine
but here's the thing. The way to get rid of some of that greed is to say, hey, you know what? As a Walmart, as a company, has to pay their people $15 an hour. That way they make money.
But then that puts out mom and pop business, entrepreneur.
No. Walmart has to pay their employees $15 an hour. Mom and pop businesses already don't exist because of Walmart.
I get what you're saying. I completely get and understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I just don't think... I don't think it's the government's responsibility. I think
it's spinning our wheels.
Yeah.
We are right now. We're spinning our wheels. So
because
we agreed to disagree about how things should happen, we're going to call it quits. We have been at this for a little bit of time, and we're just going to keep doing this. And in future episodes, we're going to keep doing this again because this is what we do.
That's right, because
if you guys have something to say, please let us know. We want to hear from you, because guess what? The governments need to hear from us.
Our voice is louder than you think.
Good examples, Earls. It happened. We can do it as a society.
Just got to put your work boots on. That's all we got to do. Put your work boots on, and we can make this society better. We can make the world a better place. I know it sounds weird, and it's kumbaya, but it's
a little
true.
Hippie-ish, but it is true.
It is true.
Society as a whole can... And it's starting to... Okay. On that note, thank you for listening. It's been a little bit of time.
Give us a thumbs up.
Yeah. Like
on
us.
The Facebooks.
Dislike
subscribe
us.
on the YouTubes.
Listen to us on iTunes.
All that good stuff, guys.
Talk to us on Twitter, because you know what? It's all true. That's what Twitter's for. That's what social media is for.
That's what social media is for.
Give us
the voice.
A poopy face on Facebook, because that's what social media is for. Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Have yourselves a great week.